Right now, someone just walked into your dream job, the position you've been chasing, the salary you've been wanting, the career breakthrough you've been waiting for. Did they have better credentials, more experience, stronger connections? Maybe, but they have that because they use the most powerful asset known to man, the disciplined, creative power of the mind. Yes, fix your resume and go networking, but only after you use the force that actually creates reality, the disciplined, creative power of your own imagination. This is neither positive thinking nor visualization. It is deeper. It is the God in man, the ability to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and watch the world rearrange itself to match. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to manifest your dream job now, using principles that sound mystical but are ruthlessly practical. The foundational principle: your world is your consciousness objectified. Before we can use any tool, we need to understand what we're working with, in our case, reality itself. Here's the single most important insight you'll ever gain. Your inner world of thought and feeling is not separate from your outer world of circumstances. It is the cause of it. The core principle is this: consciousness is the one and only reality. Everything in your world, your colleagues, your bank account, your job title, is your own consciousness made visible. You are constantly out picturing what you are conscious of being. As one of my mentors taught me, the world and all within it is man's conditioned consciousness objectified. At the center of your being is pure awareness, a sense of I am. Not your name, not your title, not your history, just the awareness that you exist. This I am is your true self, the creative power the scriptures call God. It is the unconditioned conceiver, and any state you occupy, I am successful, I am struggling, is a conception. The conceiver is ever greater than his conceptions, yet ever remains one with his conception. Here's what this means. Whatever you attach to I am becomes a command. When you say I am successful, you are commanding this infinite power to objectify that state in your world. When you say, I am struggling, you command that instead. The implication is staggering and absolute. If your world is a reflection of your consciousness, then you are not a victim of circumstance. You are the sole creator of your reality. There is no external cause. As the ancient law states, there can be no outer change until there is first an inner change. As within, so without. You are always self-imprisoned or self-freed. This realization shifts you from being a mere reflector of life to becoming the effector of life. Which brings us to the crucial question: if we are indeed the creative power, how do we consciously and deliberately direct it to build the professional life we desire? The primary tool, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Understanding the principle is the theory. Now let's turn to the master key for its practical application. This is the technique that moves you from unconsciously creating your reality to consciously architecting it. The secret lies in a subtle but profound shift in your mental activity. There's a vast difference between thinking of what you want and thinking from what you want. Thinking of your goal, a promotion, a successful business, a new client, maintains separation. You are here, and the goal is over there. Thinking from your goal means you've mentally occupied it. You are no longer wanting it. You are living in the reality of it. Let me prove this to you with my own story. In 1933, I was in New York City, penniless. I had an intense desire to spend the winter with my family in Barbados. but I was at the bottom of a waiting list of over 2,000 people. They told me it would be at least 6 months before passage was available. Logic said it was impossible. Instead of accepting those facts, I decided to live in the end. Every night for 1 month, as I fell asleep in my New York apartment, I assumed I was sleeping in my father's house in Barbados. I didn't just think about Barbados, I thought from Barbados. In my imagination, I walked up the gangplank of the ship. I felt the dampness of the rail under my hand. I tasted the salt air on my lips. I made that inner conviction so real that it became my dominant state. I didn't simply think of being on that ship. I occupied the reality of it through spiritual sensation until it felt more real than my New York apartment. That feeling of reality is the secret. One day the phone rang. My brother had sent a ticket for me to sail the following week. My family and I were singled out, and I made the journey I had lived in my imagination. I've seen this law work just as powerfully in business. I guided a couple who desired a new office building. They had no money, no architectural plans, but they had a clear, imaginal goal. Every day they would mentally enter the completed building. They felt the solidity of the structure. They imagined the offices fully rented and operational. One day, a contractor appeared at their current office and laid out a proposal. Despite the couple telling him they had no money and no plans, the contractor said, "You people are going to have that new building anyway." He found the blueprints, arranged all the financing, oversaw the entire construction. He asked only to be paid back from the net profits. Their persistent, imaginal occupancy of the finished building influenced everyone necessary to bring it into being. Your assumption has ways that you, with your limited conscious mind, know not of. The lesson is this: an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. Your feeling of the wish fulfilled is the creative act that sets in motion the forces, people, and events necessary for its realization. Now let's break this down into specific, actionable strategies you can begin using today. 3 actionable strategies for professional mastery. The principle of assumption is not vague hope. It can be systematized into daily and nightly practices. Think of these 3 strategies as a practical toolkit for taking conscious control of your career trajectory. Strategy 1, the state akin to sleep for goal imprinting. The most potent time to impress your subconscious mind is in the state akin to sleep, SATS. This is the drowsy, receptive state just before you fall asleep, where your conscious, reasoning mind relaxes its grip and the subconscious is most open to suggestion. As Scripture says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. Here's your step-by-step guide to applying this technique to any professional goal. Step 1, define your objective. Be precise. Know exactly what you want. Not just a better job, but promotion to senior director or a successful launch for my project. Step 2, construct a simple event. Create a short, single, imaginal act that implies the wish is already fulfilled. Something you would experience after your goal is achieved. For a promotion, imagine a colleague shaking your hand and saying, "Congratulations." For a successful project, feel the weight of an award in your hand or hear applause after your presentation. For a new client, imagine signing the contract and feeling the pen in your hand. Step 3, induce the drowsy state. Get into bed, relax your physical body completely, but remain in control of your thoughts. You want to be on the very border of sleep. Step 4, enact the scene. Experience your short scene in first person. Don't watch it like a movie. Be the actor. Feel the handshake. Hear the congratulations. Experience it with as much sensory vividness as you can muster. Loop this short scene over and over until it feels real and natural. Allow yourself to drift off to sleep while still in the scene. The key to success is not the clarity of the vision, but the feeling of its reality. When you successfully imprint the subconscious, the means to the end will follow automatically. Strategy 2, inner conversations for a mental diet. Your career, your relationships with colleagues, the opportunities that come your way, all are a direct result of your habitual inner talking. Every inner conversation is a form of prayer, an I am statement that you're continuously affirming. What you whisper to yourself in secret, your I am, the God within, hears as a command and proceeds to make real. What you whisper to yourself in secret, your world shouts from the rooftops. To master this, you must first become an observer of your own mind. What are the conversation pieces you're mentally tied to? What do you say to yourself about your boss when they aren't around? What's the inner argument you have about that difficult project or competitive colleague? The directive is simple but powerful. To change your circumstances, you must change your inner speech to match your fulfilled desire. You cannot walk in one direction physically while walking in another mentally. As the prophet asked, can two walk together except they be agreed? Here's a practical exercise to begin today. Identify a professional goal. Formulate a short sentence that implies its fulfillment. For example, I have a large, steady, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. Carry on mental conversations from the premise of this sentence being true. Imagine your financial advisor calling to congratulate you on your portfolio's performance. Hear their words. Formulate your reply. Live in the conversations that would take place if your goal were already a fact. This disciplined mental diet will begin to reshape the very fabric of your professional life. Overcoming the final barrier, the tyranny of facts. At this point, I know what you're thinking. This sounds wonderful, but my reality looks nothing like my desire. My bank account says I'm not wealthy. My title says I'm not the CEO. The facts are the facts. This is the biggest obstacle we all face, the seeming contradiction between the world of our senses and the world of our imagination. Here's what you must understand. Your current reality is not objective truth. It is merely the harvest of your past imagining, whether conscious or unconscious. Nothing stands between man and the fulfillment of his dream but facts, and facts are the creations of imagining. If man changes his imagining, he will change the facts. To change your reality, you must be willing to defy the evidence of your senses and persist in your new assumption. The principle you must burn into your mind is this: signs follow, they do not precede. You will not get the evidence first. You must generate the feeling first, and the evidence will follow to confirm it. This requires faith, not a blind leap, but a quiet confidence in the unseen reality within you. It's a commitment to walk by this inner vision, not by the temporary and ever-changing world of sight. Persistence is the key. You must maintain your assumption in the face of all opposition, knowing that your sustained feeling will rearrange the facts of your world to match it. Conclusion: you are the operant power. We've journeyed today from the abstract principles of consciousness to the practical strategies of deliberate creation. The core message is this: you are not a passive observer, a mere reflector of life. You are the effector of life. The power to shape your professional destiny does not lie in external conditions. It lies within your own wonderful human imagination. I challenge you today to stop looking outside yourself for causes. Stop blaming circumstances for the conditions of your life. I challenge you to boldly assume responsibility by consciously choosing the states of being you wish to occupy. You are the operant power in your own universe. Let me leave you with the same challenge a great teacher once gave his students, and that I now give to you. Take my challenge and put my words to the test. If the law does not work, its knowledge will not comfort you. And if it is not true, you must discard it. I hope you will be bold enough to test me. Don't just listen to these words, apply them, prove them in your own experience. You are the architect of your own success, the master of your fate. The power is in your hands, now, not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Go into the silence. Dare to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Dream better than the best you know, and you will prove to yourself that your world is nothing more and nothing less than your own wonderful human imagination pushed out.